At what point do you change course, though? And if you are trying to build a persona as a company and you're trying to engage your audience, you're building a relationship, building trust, and the metrics aren't always there, I know, in the beginning, and you don't want to jump around too much with too much different content, trying different things, what's the time span?
The way I think about this, it's very simple. You have to think about what is one data point? What is one point on a graph? Well, that's just a point. Well, what does that tell us? It's something, it's a point. What is 2 points? Well, 2 data points represent a line. A line we can do different things with. We can extrapolate it one way or look down the other way. But what is 3 points? 3 points says a trend. Does that trend go up? Does that trend go down? Or is that trend flat? So I like to look at 3. The number of 3 pieces of content, and odd being a good number to go with. 3 pieces of content can let you know whether you're trending down or trending up. And again, the 3 is very important. If you find that, let's say, one piece of content you push out there, you have, let's just say, identified 2 different ways that people are engaging in terms of it being something that's tied towards one value prop or another value prop, and value prop being something that they've taken interest from. Try 2 more in each sector and try to hit those same people. Remarketing is extremely important when you do this because you want to hit that same sample set to know that if you hit them with 2 more pieces of content, does that trend down or does that trend up? So that's how you're starting to build more of that funnel from each area.
Yeah, and the trend, the decision makers is driving towards your KPI, right? It also, the short answer for me is it depends, right? What's the frequency of content? How much are you putting out there? Is it a long tail thing or a mass thing, right? Because if it's long tail, it might take time for people to come to you. The one time when you do take it down right away is when you've completely screwed up, right? Which can happen, and then you got to get rid of it, right?
Sometimes the lawyers tell you to take it down.
Sometimes lawyers.
I would also, sorry.
Okay, I'll just, one quick point. There's so many variables that you're tracking and making decisions on that to just look at something and say it's failing, you got to be careful because there might be, oh, but what if we did this, and then you do that. And I'll give you a quick example, like a story written targeting first-year university students, and it's 5 ways to be money smart, as you're heading off to university. And it's about maybe often first-year universities where a lot of people acquire their first credit card, but so that might be the thing at the end. But the point is the 5 tips are good. It's about how to use your food card correctly and all this kind of stuff. So it turns out that one, this is going back a number of years, did well on Twitter targeted to the actual students. But then we take virtually the same content. You write a different headline and how to arm your son or daughter for their first year of university with money smart tips on blah, blah, blah. And you put that one on Facebook, and all the Facebook mums and aunts and and uncles and dads are sharing that out to their kids, nieces and nephews and stuff. And it takes a while to sort of learn that. And Facebook's getting really good now with their science of dividing up audiences and allowing you to target things. So it's the ability to target as well. It's sometimes though you just throw something out there and it sticks, but other times you learn from the data you're getting and adjust how you're activating it as opposed to what the content is.
Yeah, and sorry.
I was just going to add also, a lot of it is intuition when you are doing this. But the other thing is too, we shouldn't just be looking at the numbers. We should also be looking at the qualitative stuff as well. I used to work at a college, and for us, the value proposition to be in social media at that time wasn't necessarily there. But because we had been there, there were instances where we were able to save a student from dropping out of school, that sort of thing. And so it was something we were able to socialize then with our C-suite, and it helped us. You do have to have persistence. It's going to take a really long time to get noticed and have that content out there. But if you are looking at things, you want to have that digital footprint, right? And at that moment when something becomes relevant, you want to have that information there so that, people can consume it.
Try doing 3 audiences. So let's just say you want to push a piece of content out that's something related to your industry. Try doing 2 audiences that are specific in 2 different verticals that you think your customers are in, and then try one that's in the space but is more broad. This will give you a lot of information because you'll see from the 2 verticals you think are there might be information that you need to build tangential content from. But the broad will really give you a feeling of whether the two you picked from the very first actually make sense for what happened in the third, which is the more the broad one. So use that data to kind of determine whether it is just stick it out there and people engage, or it is actually you're validating that you know enough about your own customer and the audience that they're in.